to find a comfortable space. And before you close your eyes, to take a look at the screen at this wonderful mantra, Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnam, Udayasyate, Purnyasa, Purnam, Adaya, Purnam, Ivavishyate. So just take a moment, maybe close your eyes. And go to your breath. Breathing deep through the nose. And exhale through the nose. I bow to each and every one of you for being here, for bringing your heart into this space. We are so intriguingly connected, and I invite you in this moment to see clearly this truth of your being and the wholeness of everything. One of the crowning jewels in this timeless tradition of the great Vedas is in the Upanishads, in this great mantra, Purnam, Purnamada, Purnamidam. It speaks of the wholeness. This is a great invocation, a great declaration into the fullness and the dimensions of all reality, of the manifest and the unmanifest. What we're exploring in this mantra is the fundamental nature of reality, and it invites us into the deep level of equanimity. This is a prerequisite when we enter the exploration into the fundamental nature of reality. And if you enter this with any level of attachment or prejudice, you're prone to come out to misunderstand it. This is why it begins with Purnam, meaning the absolute perfection of all that is, and takes us and invites us into this deep level of equanimity. The natural expression of being in this relative field is to evolve. And on the transcendent level, there is wholeness. And from the wholeness emerges the relative field of boundaries and time. And in this field, the purpose is evolution, progressive change. One can experience a profound peace just in chanting this mantra. Again, if we try to access this from any level of stress, judgment, we can't access the true wisdom. What we access is information, and information doesn't have the value of liberation. Information has a burdening value, and we don't necessarily find ourselves wiser, more peaceful, or happier. So this invocation is one of the greatest mantras. It declares that the Creator is embedded in the creation, and the clockmaker is embedded in the clock. The clockmaker did not leave on some holiday. Purnamida, Purnamidam. This is pointing at this is that, and that is this. This is full, and that is full. And even though that this full came out of that full is still full. Purnam Ada, another name for zero. If you take zero out of zero, zero still remains. In this relative field, if we ask, what is cheese made out of? Milk. And in the relative field, we come to a material cause of it. But if we ask the question, what is everything made out of? The answer is not material. It is immaterial at the source level. The source that produces this change does not undergo a change. When the subatomic particles burst into existence, that dimension from where it bursts into existence remains in the domain outside the field of measurement, and it maintains its changeless nature. It is important to realize that the dimension of being is changeless. That dimension of existence is subtler than space and time. The fundamental nature of reality cannot be held or grasped. How are the subatomic particles coming in and out of existence? From a great void, from a dimension that cannot be measured. In Vedic wisdom, they call it Pranam. It maintains its changeless nature, and yet it shows up on the level of what we perceive as change. It is perceived as changing while maintaining its changeless nature. This is whole, and that is whole. When one can truly realize this, there is an incredible freedom at the level of the heart. The seeker, the practitioner, one that is genuinely interested in understanding in their evolution. When one can really grasp this understanding, when one realizes that only the whole exists, and what is arising at any point in our life is a play on the surface of it. And of course, this play has to be respected. It has to be honored. And of course, we will experience suffering and pain. And if we truly don't grasp the wholeness, Pranamidam, in the relative field of reality, we must know that impermanence is the law. What is the relative field? Time. It is the whole that rises up and then falls back into the whole. The wave rising up and falling back into the sea. If we can just know this, we can have a great ease. We can encounter pain, and yet we can have the ability to discover love. We have to commit to what's playing out in our life, whatever is on the screen, the play. Even suspend our belief and act as it's real while simultaneously believing it is not. When you meditate on this mantra, Pranamidam, Pranamada, a silence is reached. When we truly know only the whole exists, when that deep knowing is there, then we can keep returning to it within oneself. And then we find is a progressive realization of wholeness. That's evolution. What we call evolution is a progressive realization of the isness, realization of our wholeness, the finite gaining more infinity. Pranamada, Pranamida. Everything falls into place when we truly see this. Everything becomes enlivened when we wake to this. It gives you the guts to truly live your life, to experience the whole movie, to be the hero in your own journey. Just pause and take a look at your life. Should I? Shouldn't I? What do I wear? Where do all the moments go? Where do all the people and experiences go? They go nowhere. They are here because only here exist. When we meditate on this mantra, all doubts are removed. When we truly discover the wholeness of everything, if I am that, and that is the only thing that exists, then I am ultimately timeless, eternal presence. And yet I am the one who is born and the one who dies, and also the one who is never born and never dies. I am the one that struggles and cries, and yet I am the one who is eternally blissful. Whenever you find yourself in worry or struggle or problems with characters in your movie or your life, chant this mantra, Purnamada, Purnamidam, and just be with it. And let it move your awareness into the direction of wholeness, and watch your problems fade. It is only the whole that exists. And even though that this whole came out of that hole, it is still the whole in all of its emptiness. This is an invitation to the deep level of understanding the fundamental nature of reality. And then you get to verify it for yourself on the level of your experience. Just look at this moment, only here. The gratefulness of your very breath for this connection, for this now moment. Can you sense the grace? Can you feel that in your heart? Can you see it with the eyes of appreciation? The miracle of our togetherness right now. Can you feel it? Here you are, and here I am. Let us give attention to what we want to grow in our lives. Let us be vigilant of what we want to let through into our hearts and our minds, and move in the direction of greater unity. One breath, one moment at a time. This moment right here is enough. Committing ourselves to Dharma. Let us be aware of what we are creating. Let us be a force of light, wisdom, compassion, dedicating more for love, compassion, and unity. I will choose gratefulness, even when others are complaining or in stress. Let us see the magnificence of all that is. Let us commit to a life of great joy, a life of service, giving from our hearts. Why? Because we can. Give permission to people to have their own journey, and allow yourself to stay committed. Keep starting fresh in every moment, despite the calendar changes or the circumstances. Let us live fully. We get to decide. Every breath, every moment. I bow to each and every one of you for being here, for bringing your heart into this space. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnamudayate, Purnyasa Purnamadaya, Purnam Ivavashyate. And when you're ready, slowly come back into the space. And please continue to keep your heart online.
Good morning, and thank you for being with us this morning at Center for Spiritual Living Eugene. My name is Linda Finley. I'm the spiritual director here, and I want to just thank amazingly Sean Ferguson for that incredibly deep and moving meditation that we just have. May I commit to a life of joy. May I commit to a life of service. May I choose because I can. I guess we're basically done now. That's kind of the whole talk. He's given it all, so we're complete. But wait, we do have a little bit more. We're going to have some music, and I do have a few words I'd like to add. So I hope you'll stay with us for the rest of the service. Center for Spiritual Living is part of the New Thought Spiritual communities worldwide, and we've been here in Eugene this is our 51st year this year. 2021 marks 51 years of service to the Eugene Springfield area, and now that we're live streaming service to the world. Hi Rose in Hungary, I love you. And I'm just grateful to be here, even though you are not with me physically in this room today. I feel your presence, and I love going through the chat afterwards and seeing the comments from everyone. It is really, really wonderful to be part of this. Our mission here at the Center for Spiritual Living is to inspire minds, to open hearts, and to empower lives using the principles of our teaching, Science of Mind. And we do this whole thing because we know spiritually empowered people live richer and fuller lives. And I don't know about you, but a richer, fuller life kind of sounds good to me. We've been going through a lot of crazy times here in the world between the pandemic and the awakening to the abuses, the problems of racism and xenophobia and all the other things of otherizing people. And that's why I love this teaching so much, because this teaching, we're all part of the whole. We're all made from the whole, and our wholeness is not diminished by making more. And so I love the way Sean shared that in the meditation. And I'd like to bring him back. Oh, wait a minute, stop. Not gonna bring Sean back quite yet. Global vision, we've been sharing this year the global vision, and we're on the third piece of it right now. Our global vision for Centers for Spiritual Living. We see a world in which individually and collectively, we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. I love that. Where individually and collectively, we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. Not being seduced by the events of the day, not being drawn into what's going on and going into the ancient offals, that we move into a higher consciousness. And here to help us with that is Sean Ferguson, who's going to do a spiritual mind treatment and affirmative prayer to help us set the tone for today. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning. I'm in my my car here, so where I get wonderful internet. I just want to announce before I do this prayer, I just want everybody to know in our community that's here today that we have two wonderful teens that have been hard at work and deep into a process this weekend at winter camp, and I just want everyone to know that and just radiate love and appreciation for all their hard work and their courage to be able to do this work at such a young age. It's what a gift we have through this teaching and what we do for our youth. With that being said, let's just take a moment, possibly close our eyes. Let's go to our breath, breathing deep in through the nose and letting it go. I'd like to invite you to possibly rub your hands together, generate some heat, continuing to breathe. Maybe take those hands when you're done, and you can leave them in a prayer mudra. You can place them on your heart, whatever feels comfortable for you. Continue to breathe. Bringing your awareness to your heart. Bringing your heart fully online. Breathing into that stillness, that space, that womb, that cosmic womb, where we are being held and cradled all of our life. And even in this very moment, that there is this intelligence that is breathing us. There is this place of pure potentiality, of love, of all the wisdom being birthed right now through us. We have that access. We are a conduit for that amazing, incredibly loving intelligence being birthed every moment. And I know I showed up here this morning to be able to tap into this timeless wisdom. I know this teaching gives me the tools so I can have greater access to this amazing life, to God, to the love, to the wholeness of all that is. Like I stated in my meditation, Pranamida, Pranamidam, only the whole. And when I fully realize this, in my heart, I have a great ease. No matter what is going on, I can return to this space, this quiet space, and know that this is God moving in very creative ways for the highest outcome. I know the music that is going to be played today inspires me. I know the message gives me an insight into what I need to do now, because only now exists. I just breathe into that. I take a deep breath. I'm going to let it go. I fully trust and I fully surrender. I know I am eternally held in this timeless domain of the Great Mother. And I allow the gifts that are showing up right now and that continue to show up to manifest through me. I take action now, and I let God express, and I let God be, and the rest I just let go and let God. And I am so grateful. And together we say, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that beautiful, beautiful prayer. So great. We also have a practice here where we do an affirmation for an entire month. And I'll say it through once, and then you'll say it together with me. It's up on the screen so you can see it. But for now, what we're going to do is just listen to it the first time so we can kind of absorb it, and then we'll say it aloud together. Knowing I am forever one with all life, I use the power within me to grow and evolve as I experience the good that God is. And together we'll say this. Knowing I am forever one with all life, I use the power within me to grow and evolve as I experience the good that God is.
So it is.
And speaking of the good that God is, I am delighted to bring to you, I've begged him for 14 years to come up here, and now that it suddenly occurred to me, now that we're here in this pandemic and we're live streaming, I can have him here without him leaving Santa Rosa. Hi, Tom. Star Tom is here with us today.
Hi,
Yay.
Linda.
Star Tom was a regular at Center for, or the Petaluma Center for Religious Science, and I am so delighted to be able to share you now with the people here that are part of our Eugene Circle. So, hi.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. So glad to finally get to do a service with you again. It's been a long time. Linda and I had a lot of fun in Petaluma putting together fabulous services over and over again.
Well, I introduced you to your wife.
Indeed. Yes, she's just off screen over yonder.
Hi.
So, indeed, yes, that did introduce me to my wife, coming to your church and doing that music. So that's pretty darn good. So I have a song this morning. It's an original Star Tom one. And it sounded like Linda was going to speak to us a little bit about where we are right now and some of those challenges. So this song starts out in the challenge and then moves on from there. Lately I've been in darkness, fumbling for my keys. Lately I've been in darkness, trying to see the starlight through the trees. As I have my hopes and visions, I want them to come true. I have my hopes and visions, but I can't see the whole way through. Already realize it can be so. You know inside it can be so. And now's the time to stand aside and just let the Spirit flow. You already realize it can be so. You know inside it can be so. And now's the time to stand aside and just let the Spirit flow. I woke up this morning wondering about my dreams. Woke up this morning wondering what's to become of me. So I asked that place inside me where Spirit seems to dwell. I asked for a light to guide, but she said, you know the answer well. You already realize it can be so. You know inside it can be so. And now's the time to stand aside and just let the Spirit flow. Already realize it can be so. You know inside it can be so. And now's the time to stand aside and just let the Spirit flow. So I'm resting in the knowing that good things are meant to be. I'm resting in the knowing that it will all work out for me. And you know it, feel it growing, this thing that we call faith. You know I feel it growing, and I'm so glad I can hardly wait. 'Cause I realize it can be so. I know inside it can be so. And now's the time to stand aside and just let the Spirit flow. Already realize it can be so. I know inside it can be so. And now's the time to stand aside and just let the Spirit flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. Now's the time to let the Spirit flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. Now's the time to let the Spirit flow.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. See you after the talk.
All right.
Oh, memories, memories, memories. So this year and this month, the overarching theme is ancient wisdom, timeless vision. The idea being that we are a teaching that is founded on wisdom through the ages. We call ourselves New Thought, but that's about us personally having a new thought, a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at things. But it is old wisdom that we stand upon. It is old wisdom that we draw from. It is the teaching of the ancients. It is the teachings of the ancient cultures, the Zoroastrians, the ancient Hebrews, the Hindus, the Tao. There are so many teachings that teach what we believe. And as we believe this teaching, we also know that it's ancient and it's still true because it grows as we grow. In other words, to believe this teaching, I don't have to stay here in one spot and believe this one thing. Ancient wisdom is not really a fundamentalist religion. It is an infinite religion. It is always evolving, always growing, always expanding, always becoming more of what is possible. And so we stand on the shoulders of giants, but we look to the stars, to the future, to what could be. And we're in this dance between what has been and what could be. And that timeless vision calls us to evolve. That timeless vision calls us to grow and expand. But I want to talk about the two basic tenets of our faith. At least in my opinion, we've got dozens of things that we say, but they all boil down really to two ideas. One is there is an infinite intelligence. There is an infinite energy that comprises the universe. This energy is the source of everything that is. It is both, it's what we come from, and it is the substance of everything that is. So we come from this energy and we are made of this energy, and we are all intricately and inextricably connected. I cannot separate myself from anyone or anything, even though I may say, oh, we're estranged, we don't talk anymore, I've unfriended them, I've whatever. As Sean so beautifully stated in the meditation, we are part of the whole. We come out of the whole, and yet the whole is still complete and whole, and we are still complete and whole, and we are still interconnected with everything that is. There is no place we can go, there is no thing we can do which stops us from being connected to everyone, even those things that we don't like, even those things that we disagree with. As Tom said in his song, I'm having tough times, I don't like where I'm at, but even then I am connected to where I'm at, to what's going on. I'm connected to everything. It's all one. It's all God. It's all good. And if you don't, I had somebody the other day at a class say, you use the G word a lot. And I do, because for me, it's just simpler to say God. I didn't have an ugly relationship in religion at the beginning of my life. And so the whole idea of God is not a negative thing to me, but I know that's a hurtful thing for some people. And God has been used as a way to browbeat people. And that's not what I'm talking about. I find it interesting that the word Abba that Jesus used, when the Aramaic word that he used when he said Father was Abba. And that is not Father. That got translated into English as Father. But in Aramaic, it's Papa. I and the Papa are one. That's a completely different energy. If we think of God, God is our Papa who art in heaven. Woo! That's a whole different way of looking at at this energy, because this energy so loved the world that it became the world. So wanted to create that it became its creation. And this is what we believe, that wherever we are and whoever we are staring into, it is the face of God. Even some of the horrific faces we've seen in the past few weeks, the things that have happened in the world, even that is the face of God. That is the face of someone who has lost his touch with God, but it's still that face. The second part of our teaching, that is the core of this, if all that I am is the infinite, if all that I am is this energy, everything that I think, everything that I talk about, everything that I spend my time looking at and absorbing, the books that I read, the internet that I go through, my phone, my whatever I'm reading, all of that is telling the universe, telling the law what I believe. It's forming my reality. And so while I want to be well informed, I want to be aware of what's going on in the world, if I keep watching the same news over and over and over again, there's a part of my brain that thinks that's all that's out there. And then I start building up defenses, especially in my amygdala, that place in my brain, which kind of is the lizard brain. That part of my brain, our brain is actually three parts. I used to think it was all one big brain, and it's sort of, but we literally have three separate brains. And the amygdala is the lizard brain. It's the reptile brain. It's the danger brain. And it's the one that grabs you in the gut or wherever it grabs you when you get frightened. And if I keep looking at all the things that I think are wrong, I build a world in which all those things are my reality. That becomes my truth. Whether it's real or not, whether it's bounded in fact or not, it has become my reality, and therefore I go out looking for more evidence of that being the truth and proving to myself that it is the truth. And I wound up walking myself into a hole where I have convinced myself, because I won't see anything that stops that. I only look for what proves. This is why they have double-blind studies in science. So, gone through a lot of what it is we believe, but that's essential for us to move forward. Today's topic is here and now. Those are two incredibly relative terms because they only exist in relationship to other things. Here is the only place I can ever be. I am stuck with here. You've got a there, but that's your here. And the minute I try to go there, then it's my here. I can never get there because wherever I am is here. Now is the only time I ever have to live. I lived in the past, those experiences happened, but they're no longer now. And the future is ahead of me, but that's not now. And the minute I say now, it's the past. So being mindful of where I am and when I am, here and now, keeps me in the moment. Keeps me from being locked to the stories of my past, keeps me from being fearful of my plans for the future. One of the things I miss so much about us being together is singing together and joining hands. And we had this beautiful song by Jack Fowler. Right here, right now, we have come into the presence of God. And our hearts are open to the love that's found. Right here, right now. Now, of course, if God is all there is, we're never out of the presence of God. But the singing of that song calls us back from having wandered away. God is always within us. God is always in us, as us. But I get distracted by what's going on in the world. I quit being here and now. And I lose track of the fact that God is there with me. So a song like that, presence like that, mindfulness like that calls me back to, wait a minute, right here, right now. That's going on over there. I'm watching this on TV. That's happening there. But where I am right now, nobody's after me. Where I am right now, God is with me. Where I am right now, there is good. I am whole. Here and now. And this is what we have to do when we are called up and seduced by, hooked by the news that's going on around us, is that, okay, yes, that's what's going on. And right here, right now, I'm okay. And right here, right now, every moment of right here and right now, I am creating the new normal. Everything that I think about, everything that I say, everything that I talk about, everything that I read is creating my new now that's going to happen tomorrow and my new now that's going to happen next year. I am constantly in the now moment thinking and saying the things that are creating my next now. This entire year is our workstation for the new normal that we're building, for the new way of being in community together as a spiritual community, for the new way that we're coming together as the town of Eugene and Springfield and the county of Lane. This is our new way of being a nation, of being with one another, of embracing one another. But we get caught up in who we are and the story. And I love the lyrics from Star Tom's talk or song, stand aside and let it flow. We, as Emerson said, need to get our bloated nothingness out of the way so that God can be God in us and through us and as us. To stand aside and let God's grace flow as us. I have an Emerson quote for you. Another one of my favorite Emerson quotes. Of course, every quote by Emerson is my favorite. You knew that. But treat a man as he is, and he will remain as he is. Treat a man as he could be, and he will become what he should be. Now, we don't should on each other in this teaching, but we all come with a pure potentiality that is a shouldness, essentially, in us. And we either work at it and build it, or we get frightened of it and bury it. And then it comes out as illness or problems in some other way, shape, or form. Could I treat myself as I could be? Could I begin seeing me as I could be? Could I begin seeing this center as it could be? Could I begin seeing our nation as it could be? Can I begin seeing through the eyes of the infinite energy all the possibilities that God has created and set out there for us? Can I, in the here and now, where I am, begin being who I came here to be? Not what anybody else thinks I ought to be. Oh, did you see what they did today? No. Doesn't matter what they say. If I don't be in the here and now, who I came here to be in the here and now. When will I be that? Whenever I deny myself, a little part of me dies. A little part of me shrivels up. It's like the plant you forgot on the windowsill that is all of a sudden all wilted and limp and looks as though it's not going to make it. The only way to put it back is with water, the water of spirit, the water of truth, the water of being who I came to be, here and now, in the presence of God, conscious of the presence of God, standing aside and letting God flow. Am I willing to stand in the here and now with everything that's going on and accept it as an invitation to evolve and grow? Remember the words of Rob Bell the last 2 weeks. Everything that happens is an invitation to evolve and grow into who I could be. Who I could be. Who I came here to be. Dr. Holmes has said, behind everything that is, everything seen is a silent cause. Behind everything seen is a silent cause. In your life, you are that cause. We don't have to create the power. Power is already here. We just have to acknowledge it and use it. And we do that here and now. Because that's the only time and the only place we have. Namaste. Now I want to call Sean back to bless the offering, and then we'll hear from Star Tom again.
Thank you, Linda. It's almost as we collaborated this morning or this week, and I didn't quite look at your topic, but it seemed that they were pretty parallel. So thank you for that wonderful insight. I want you to take a moment and take your gift, whatever it is that you are choosing to give of yourself today, whether it's your time, your talent, or your inherent endless bank account that you have. And know that when you give, whatever it is, it cannot be divided. So the more I give, the more I receive. And that this place that I give comes from an infinite wellspring. It comes from the whole, and this whole can never be divided. And so I give with all of my heart and with my whole being. And so it is. And on the screen, you can see that there's lots of ways you can use PayPal. Looks like we have Breeze, but you can also text or even stop by the office if they are there, and or there's an address there that you can mail a check. And I don't know if they're inviting us back up for practitioner, but I want to let everyone know that I am available and that many of our practitioners are available at all times. I myself am available at any time. If you're needing some upliftment, if you're needing help to see through the cloudiness or the muddiness of anything that's going on, if you're needing to be just reminded and held in your wholeness, we are available. I am available. So thank you.
Imagine there's a magic force in back of everything. Imagine you can change the world with things you think and sing. Imagine that the life you want is just a thought away. Imagine how you'd use that power if you had it today. Then you would be the one to change your life, and you would be the one to make it right. There is a force that touches every part of everything. There is a way that you can choose the blessings that it brings. There is a power that we call God that's with us every day. There is a time that we call now to pick a better way. 'Cause truth is, you're the one to change your life. And truth is, you're the one to make it right. 'Cause God loves you. God loves you. Yes, God loves you. God loves you. You might think that everything would change in such a flash. And you might think that you'd be king with love and cars and cash. But you might think a moment now before you buy that car. 'Cause you might think of reasons why you made things how they are. And you are still the one to change your life. And you are still the one to make it right. Imagine that you've used the power the very best you can. There is a time that comes when you still need a bigger plan. You might think that your first choice is good as it can be. Know the truth that God's advice can help to set you free. 'Cause God loves you. God loves you. God loves you. Yes, God loves you.
Bless you, Star Tom. Bless you, bless you, bless you.
Thank you so much,
God
Linda.
loves you, and so do I.
Thank you.
So we have some announcements now. I know you've been waiting with bated breath to check them out. We have a hangout after the meeting on Zoom. There's a new link in the newsletter, so go to your newsletter and grab the link. I believe Radiant is going to be hosting it today, so good luck and have some fun together. The online Vista, there's still about 8, I think, spaces left if you're interested in doing the online conference in February. By the way, the conference that Sean was talking about with the teens, that's an online conference too. They are doing everything on, and one of these days Felix will be on that online conference. But right now, the Vista link, it's February 15th, the evening of the 15th through the noon of the 18th, and there are like 40 different workshops available. There are great speakers, amazing musicians. Amy Bishop is going to be one of the musicians. She's hosting everything, and it's just going to be an amazing experience. So give yourself the gift for $35. You get all 3 days. And then, oh yes, shh. Reverend Shirley's birthday is January 30th, and she's going to be 95 years old. In the newsletter is the address. Please go get a card, a little present, a little whatever, just a trinket. I don't think she needs any gifts, but she would sure love a note from you wishing her a happy birthday. And like again, the address is in the newsletter, so check the newsletter and get the address and get a card sent out to Reverend Shirley for her 95th birthday. Thursdays at 7:30 in the morning, it's a drop-in. You don't have to, you have to get the link in the newsletter, but you don't have to attend week after week. It's just a drop-in forgiveness meditation with Angela, 7:30 Thursday morning. Go to the newsletter, get the link, and just be up at 7:30 and log in. It's really good. I'm going to be teaching. Hopefully, I'm going to be teaching. Right now, only 2 of you have signed up. I'm going to be teaching Wednesday nights at 6:30 and Friday mornings at 10:30, spiritual principles and practices. And that is a 5-week class, and it's really, 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 really good. We'll be using this thing called You as the textbook, and it's about taking the principles and applying them in your life. It's a very experiential class. It's really not a lot of reading. It's more a lot of talking about things and making plans for your life. So go to the newsletter, get the link, and register for that. Also, there's still time to register for Angela's Thursday evening class, Revealing Wholeness, and that's through the home office, and you can get the link in our newsletter to register for that as well. And both of the classes that we have mentioned, the one I'm teaching and the one Angela's teaching, are accredited classes and will count towards your work as a practitioner. And that's it for now. Remember, as easy as it is and oh my gosh, the world right now is so seductive. The things that are going on can really pull us in and make us nervous and scared. And remember, God is in the middle of all of this. God is with us through all of this. And that which we call love, that which we call peace, that which we call truth, always prevails. So be in the here and the now, and trust and know that God loves you. So it is. Namaste.